I'm Laurie Cardoza Moore, and this is Focus on Israel. Hello, and thank you for joining me today on our premiere showing of Focus on Israel. My name is Laurie Cardoza Moore, a wife and proud mother of 5 wonderful children. Like most Americans, I began to ask a lot of questions about what happened to my country following 9/11. As I read and talked to experts, the issues of radical Islam and the attacks on America and Israel became extremely personal to me. In response, I founded Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, PJTN, a nonprofit organization dedicated to educating and sharing the message of Christian biblical responsibility to the people and land of Israel against the rise of global anti-Semitism. As I met and interviewed leading experts, I wanted to share with you what I've learned through this award-winning series, Focus on Israel. The mission of this series and PJTN is to educate and equip you so that you can share this information with your family and friends. We'll present information you'll not see in the mainstream media. With your help, we can reach Christians around the world with our message to stand against the growing threat of anti-Semitism and anti-Israel propaganda. After studying the scriptures, I realized that God had not forsaken his covenant with his people, Israel. Unfortunately, today, there is a growing trend in Christianity to spread an age-old false doctrine and tradition called replacement theology. This heretical doctrine suggests that because the Jews denied Christ, the covenant promises given to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and their descendants now belong to the church. That is why, during the Holocaust, many Christians turned a blind eye to the Nazi death camps. Many felt justified in their passive and active involvement because they believed the Jews were the Christ killers. For this reason, we must study and share the truth. It is so very important that at this critical time in history, we must turn our focus on Israel. In Galatians 3:29, the Apostle Paul said, "If you are in Christ, you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise." What most Christians have never been taught is that when God made that promise to Abraham, he made that promise to Abraham and his descendants forever. He also promised that he would make Abraham's descendants like the stars of the heavens and the sands of the seashore. Of all the people in the world who should understand who the Jewish people are and who Israel is, it should be the Christians. So I established PJTN in 2005 and launched Focus on Israel as the Christian voice for Israel in the media. Most importantly, we want to educate Christians about their biblical responsibility to Israel and their Jewish brethren so that they will take a stand. Christians of all the people groups around the world should be standing up, and there should be an outcry from the nations of the world against the atrocities and false accusations that are being perpetrated against Israel on a daily basis. We witness year after year, war after war, and where is the leadership of the church? Where is the outcry from the Christians? Christians have a moral and a biblical responsibility to defend our Jewish brethren. If we as Christians believe that Jesus is the Messiah, then we are part of that covenant. We are part of that promise, and we have a biblical responsibility to stand with our Jewish brethren and defend the land that God calls his. God told the prophet Joel in chapter 3 that in the latter days he was going to pour out his wrath on the nations because they were dividing up his land. Millions of people around the world profess to be Christians, but year after year, we allow our governments and the United Nations to implement policies that are diametrically opposed to the Word of God. And why do we do this? Because we don't know the truth. We cannot let our Jewish brethren fight this battle alone. They have fought this battle alone for years, with no one standing with them. Now it's time for Christians to rise up. Now it's time for us to take a stand. Now it's time for us to say, never again. After studying the scriptures, I realized that God had not forsaken his covenant with his people Israel. I hear from many Israelis and my Jewish brethren with tears in their eyes say how they can't believe that a Christian would want to help them defend their land and protect their people. In 1942, many Christians were silent while millions of Jews were killed in the Holocaust. We cannot be silent again. This is an opportunity where Christians and Jews can unite together on something we can both agree upon, and that is to defend the state of Israel, her right to exist, her right to maintain her existing borders, and her right to defend her people. We have a biblical and moral obligation, and we cannot be silent again. God gave us his word and the wisdom to guide our actions. It is written in Genesis 12, verses 1 through 3, I will bless those who bless Israel and curse those who curse Israel. World War II and the Holocaust, the genocide that exterminated 78% of the Jewish men, women, and children in Europe. Today, there are less than 15 million Jewish people on the earth. This time, it is on our watch. Anti-Semitism, the hatred of the Jewish people, and anti-Israel activities are at the highest rate globally since the days of the Nazis. In Romans 11:18, it is written, you do not support the root, but the root supports you. Has your church, family, or community forgotten Jesus' family and our Jewish brethren? What more can you do to support our Jewish brethren? Romans 11, verses 28 through 29 says, they are beloved on account of the patriarchs. God's gifts and call are irrevocable. The steadfast commitment to Israel and the Jewish people is at the very heart of proclaiming justice to the nations. And on our show today, we want to introduce you to our passion and our mission. This is PJTN. 9/11 changed a lot of things for a lot of people. It caused me to delve deeper into my faith and deeper into the Word of God to see why these events were unfolding. Why was this enemy targeting Christians and Jews? And it set me on a course, on a journey that has brought me to this place today. I realized that Israel is facing threats from nearly every corner, from Iran's nuclear weapons program, from terrorist groups such as Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, and now ISIS. I founded Proclaiming Justice to the Nations to wake up Christians to the realities of a world bent on destroying Israel and the Jewish people.
There are many worthy causes to give to, that no one can deny that. This is one of them. To make sophisticated documentaries on Israel's behalf coming from Christians is so monumental in its significance. This is where the battle is now. In making, if we have to win, this is not a liberal slogan. It's the truth. We must win the minds and hearts of people. They're lied to every day. That's why this has to be supported, though. This is the counterculture in media. We have to get into the media in every way we can. Laurie, God bless you. God bless all the work you do. Thank you for having me. It was one of the great nights of my life. Thank you very much.
PJTN is idealistic. They are impassioned. They are informed. This is a personal issue for me. It should be a personal issue for every American, because in the ongoing struggle between right and wrong, between decency and profound terrorist evil, Israel cannot must not stand alone.
PJTN presents a groundbreaking film, The Forgotten People, Christianity and the Holocaust.
PJTN to me is an organization that is a tip of the spear type of organization. She's willing to do hard things, take hard positions on matters that some people want to back away from.
The PJTN is one of these most wonderful organizations. They're really standing up for the facts, for the truth, and they're not bashful. They don't go with what's called politically correct. They go with the facts, and they share it objectively.
I would hope that more Christians here in the United States would speak out. When you add up all the people in the United States who say they're Christian, if they wanted to make sure that our political and social establishment took this as a priority, I actually have a lot more clout than a couple of Zionists hanging out in Los Angeles.
We repeatedly see missiles being lobbed into communities in Israel and families being mutilated in their beds while they sleep.
If they have board members who are tied to radical extremist groups.
So why don't you gather evidence against that board member and allow the mosque itself?
Proclaiming justice to the nation's mission is to educate Christians about their biblical responsibility to stand with the Jewish people and defend the state of Israel. This textbook is totally unacceptable. It's anti-Semitic, and we want it removed. Now we look at a nation and we see what's happening globally, how the Jews are being persecuted once again.
How will you address the rise of global genocidal anti-Semitism?
Why should we care about Israel? I mean, it's not affecting me, right?
The 2015 Ed McAteer Tree of Life Award, presented to former UN Ambassador, the Honorable John R. Bolton.
Thank you very much.
Today we'll be addressing the rise of global genocidal anti-Semitism and Vatican II's Nostra Aetate.
Theological steps that PJTN takes that are founded on biblical doctrine are immensely important. They're crucial moving forward. So what PJTN brings to the world, to the Christian community, and to the Jewish community, is the most important thing you could ask for. When you combine that with this love and support of Israel, which is so important, and helping people awaken to what's going on in the world, from a biblical or religious point of view. It just doesn't get much more important than that.
Every generation is tested. This is the test of this generation. We are at a critical moment in history. We must take a stand, and the truth must be heard. For Zion's sake, we must proclaim justice to the nations.
I want to take you to Israel in pictures and film. I want you to see how God's sovereign hand can be seen before our eyes right here in this land. That's why PJTN is offering a special anniversary package that includes a captivating new book and award-winning DVD. Israel Rising is a unique visual story of Israel's miraculous journey from unforgiving desert to thriving nation. Thousands of years ago, the prophet Ezekiel foretold a future time in which the arid land of Israel would come alive for its people. Now this breathtaking book documents the fulfillment of this vision, as rarely seen photographs from the 1880s to the 1940s are juxtaposed with recent photos of the same locations. This book will inspire and captivate you as it illuminates Israel's foretold awakening in a new and unforgettable way. In addition, you'll receive the award-winning documentary, Israel Indivisible: The Case for the Ancient Homeland. This inspiring film examines the many political twists and turns that make Israel the world's most controversial nation. From Abraham and the Promise to the issues facing the Jewish state today, the film examines the historical, archaeological, legal, and biblical foundations for the modern state of Israel. This is a limited time offer for these two remarkable resources for just a one-time gift of $70 today. Your generous donation will help ensure that PJTN stays on the front lines and in the headlines of all the important issues facing Israel and our Jewish brethren. So please go to pjtn.org today. From studying history, it's very clear that what starts with the Jews never ends only with the Jews. We must strongly stand against any anti-Semitic trends, for if not stopped, they'll cause harm to all of us, and we'll witness the downfall of our Judeo-Christian Western culture. Today, many people say there's no longer a need for a Jewish state, that Jews around the world no longer need a place of refuge. But anyone who has heard recent statistics about the worldwide rise in anti-Semitism would never make such a claim. The reality is that neo-Nazi groups and Nazi sympathizers are increasing around the world. Surveys show that over 1 billion people in the world harbor anti-Semitic attitudes. Close to 50% believe that Jews have too much power in the business world, and 2/3 of the world's population has never heard of the Holocaust or believe the historic accounts of it are inaccurate. Don't let yourself be manipulated by evil people with a wicked agenda. When the self-serving villains are in control, good people from all religions suffer. Muslims, Christians, and all people of conscience should stand proudly and show respect for a country that gives so much to the world in so many ways. Do your part, do your research, and do what you can to make a difference. Because what happens in Israel does affect us all. This is not just a Jewish or just an Israeli problem. This is a problem for all humanity, for each and every one of us who believe in freedom and human rights. Learn more about what you can do at pjtn.org. Now, I'd like to introduce you to what you'll be seeing on this award-winning new series, Focus on Israel. Our goal will be to educate, entertain, and elevate you. We'll be covering a wide variety of topics and issues, but we'll always return to what is biblical. What does the Bible say about Israel, the Jewish people, and our relationship with the people and the land God calls His? Many of our programs deal with the age-old hatred of anti-Semitism. The past and present growth of this scourge will be examined on many levels. We'll present several major parts to this issue, including a look at Christian anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism in films, and take you to a global forum to fight this growing threat. In our programs, we speak with numerous experts in the fields of terrorism, history, politics, and religion. Interviews include James Woolsey, former director of the CIA, Joseph Farah, CEO of WND, Walid Shubat, former Palestinian terrorist, as well as the late Rabbi Dr. Gerald Meister, Rabbi Shlomo Riskin, Dr. John Garr, and Dr. Brad Young. The world comes against Israel in so many ways and on so many levels. We'll look at the disinformation spread in our schools and by the media, a media that is often very biased against the Jewish state. Another threat that is growing is the boycott movements in churches, governments, schools, and the culture. Many question the very right of Israel to even exist. On our evidence series of programs, we'll look at the biblical, the archaeological, the historical, and finally, the political evidence for Israel to exist and hold all the land God calls His. More and more discoveries are made each year that prove the Bible to be not only a holy text, but a true historical book of amazing and miraculous events. Our series of spiritual studies looks at several aspects of Israel's connection on a higher level. What is the Genesis curse? In Genesis 12, it states, "I will bless those that bless you and curse those who curse you." How does God's curse work for those who aid and support her? For those who come against her? How is anti-Semitism undergirded by a dark spiritual world from the very creation of man? What is the promise made to the fathers? What will the new Jerusalem look like? Should we as Christians follow what many call the Jewish Sabbath? Several programs look at the political aspects of Israel and its relationship with its neighbors and the group of Arabs who call themselves Palestinians. The geopolitics of the area is sometimes a minefield to understand. In our discussion with former Israeli ambassador and foreign minister Danny Ayalon was eye-opening. And what of the question of peace in the Middle East? How Israel has miraculously defended itself in numerous wars and what the outlook is for the future is examined. And how can Israel stop a nuclear Iran bent on destroying the Jewish state? The relationship of Israel, the Jewish people, and Christians is always an interesting subject. We'll look at the relationship through the Hebrew roots of Christianity. And what of those Christians who come against the Jewish people and Israel through the age-old error of replacement theology? Israel and the Jewish people also have many supporters, including America. We look at the long and storied relationship of America and Israel. Many Christians and blacks also have a history of aligning with the Jewish people, including Pastor Jack Hayford. Of course, we would be remiss without taking you on a sightseeing tour of Israel and a visit to the world's most famous Holocaust museum, Yad Vashem. Our program list also includes a number of topics that will not only educate, but greatly entertain as well. We'll look at how Jewish immigrants actually invented Hollywood and the idea of the American dream. It was also Jewish immigrants who created the superheroes who have become box office hits today, such as Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and Captain America, among others. The Jewish influence in comedy has been enormous, and there's also been some great Jewish baseball players as well. And finally, most people don't realize that they play American football in Israel. That was a new one even for me. Up next, we have a fast-paced montage of what you'll be seeing in the weeks and months ahead as we focus on Israel.
the day, I think there's something about Israel that brings Christians and Jews together and a common cause and a common relationship, that they're strengthening one another and helping one another.
If our friend you think loves us too much, accept it as a blessing and as a gift. There are so many in the world that hate us too much.
I want to thank you for joining me today on our premiere showing of Focus on Israel, and I hope you'll continue to be here with us each week. We would love to hear from you, so please send us your comments and questions to comments@pjtn.org. The time to stand up is now. Be a leader in your community and in your church. One person can make a difference. Get involved with and support pro-Israel organizations such as PJTN. Call your senators, congressmen. Let your elected leaders hear from you. Visit our website to learn more. Sign up to receive action alerts and order our films to share with others. Please encourage your family and friends to tune in and watch. God bless you, and thank you for all you do on behalf of our Jewish brethren and all Israel. We'll see you next time on Focus on Israel.
To support this program, send your tax-deductible gift to Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, P.O. Box 682711, Franklin, Tennessee 37068. You can also support PJTN online. Visit pjtn.org or call 1-877-873-9020.
Anti-Semitism has reached epic proportions, and Israel is now surrounded by nations who seek its destruction. For Israel to lose just one battle would mean losing everything. As Christians, it is our biblical responsibility to stand with our Jewish brethren and Israel. PJTN needs your help to reach more Christians with this urgent message. Please visit our website to become a member today and order our award-winning documentaries. You must decide that you won't be silent. Sign up now at pjtn.org. God bless you, and thank you for your support and prayers.